We're 3 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting here in Arizona. Hi again, everybody. Welcome on in. We're at Sloan Park, about 20 minutes south of the Princess Resort, our home away from home during spring training here at Sloan Park in Mesa. It is the home of the Cubs. We have Ho-Ho-Cam right over the hill from us. That is the home of the A's. We'll be over there on today's show a little bit as well. As always, we encourage you as you take in this show to write down the places that we're showing you to eat, to hike, to stay. I know, and you know, you're excited for your favorite players. You can't wait to be out here for BP, taking ground balls and all that stuff, getting the autographs. We're here to show you Arizona, okay? Make your plans here in January, because when you show up out here, we guarantee you're gonna love Arizona for spring training. All right, to give us more about Mesa, because it's happening. It's not just the Cubs, it's not just the A's here in Mesa. There is a whole nightlife, day life. You want day trips in between your team's games as you're coming here to spring training. Lance Fight is with us. He is Director of Sports with Visit Mesa. It is good to see you. We are excited to be here for spring training, and for everybody around the country who's coming out here. You guys have a lot to offer.
We really do, and it's kind of one of those rejuvenated things that a lot of people didn't know about our growing nightlife and our pub crawls, and a true pub crawl in downtown Mesa. We're so excited to bring everyone back for a full swing spring training, explore the outdoors, explore our golfing. It's a lot different of a Mesa than a lot of people remember.
Okay, for where we're standing right now, we're about 10 minutes away from downtown Mesa, 10, 15 minutes probably. Before a game, let's get specific, before a day game, where do they go in downtown? Some of the places, I know there's a lot of them, but some of the things to do in downtown Mesa before, let's say, a 1 o'clock first pitch.
Yeah, you know, we have a brand new place called Espiritu. There's Tacos Chihuas for, you know, a bite to eat before. There's so many golf courses within, 5-10 miles from here to get a quick 9 or 18, depending on how good or bad you play. There's Riverview is just across the way from here at Sloan Park for great shopping, great restaurants. If you have, a 1 o'clock game, a 2 o'clock game, you can hit the outdoors and some of our ATV riding and horseback riding. A lot of the air balloons like to go up early in the mornings during the spring, so it's definitely a ton of things to do.
And he talks about golf. I made some shallow graves just like 10 minutes away from here before we came and shot this. That's just the way it is. There's so many golf courses. There's over 100 of them here in Maricopa County. Okay, so the game ends. Game's 1 o'clock, game's at 4. Where do people go? They go back to the hotels, of course, but where would you say they should go in downtown Mesa, some of the spots?
Our downtown is within 3.5 miles from where we're at Sloan. It's 2 blocks away from the A's stadium. Our downtown district has become this rejuvenated, really cool pub scene. On every block, it's a true pub crawl. We just came out with a brand new Best Brews Passport, which means you scan your QR code and download the app. At every one of the pubs that are on the passport, you scan one, you fill out your passport. It's kind of like you're punching your stamp on that passport. Once you fill that passport, you come to Visit Mesa. We get you, some swag, a shirt, a hat, a sticker after filling the passport. One of those things to really have people fully experience a cool downtown. Okay,
so let's say it's the family that comes out here and it's a day off.
Just to go, back to another passport that we created was an Outdoor Explore Adventure Passport. A lot of our outdoor scenery, you're so entwined with all this spring training here in the city mecca. You go, 45 minutes outside of the city, and you're seeing wild horses, the Superstition Mountains. You're seeing Saguaro Lake, horseback riding, ATV riding, and again with the passport, you go along some of these trails and you scan your QR code and you're punching your passport. Once you fill your passport, come back to Visit Mesa. We'll reward you again for just exploring the outdoors and exploring everything Mesa has to offer.
Okay, one last question before I get you out of here. Having the Cubs, having the A's here in Mesa, so close in proximity to one another, what's it done for the city of Mesa?
It's huge. It's one of those things where if you don't have a game at one, you have a game at the other. Some days they have them on the same days. You can get an early game, a late game. For us in Mesa, you really get a part of the brews is not just the breweries. We have so many cool little coffee spots in downtown Mesa. It's really rejuvenated kind of this cool hop hopping nightlife, a really cool morning, midday life. If you have golf on one day and ATVing on another day, you see the Cubs play on another day, you hit another quick 18, or go to our art museum, go to our history museum, things like that. There's just it's endless. It really is a city limitless when it comes to those days.
Well, let's say the Cubs or the A's are playing over on the west side of the valley, and we're embracing the whole valley on this show. You're about 30, 40 minutes away. You're not far away from anything if you're staying in Mesa.
And that's really cool for me, as a person who doesn't live directly in Mesa. If you leave this park, you're 30 minutes away from a really cool Scottsdale scene. You're 30 minutes away from downtown Phoenix. If you're flying into Sky Harbor, you're 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away from Sky Harbor. So it's one of those things where we're at is you can get, in 1 week span, you can probably hit 5-6 games. Like you said, 100 different golf courses. Yep. It's just endless in Arizona, and spring training is that exciting time where you can hit all of it and not be miserably hot.
And it's not bad being in the mid-60s here in the third week in January, and we all love what Arizona's all about with spring training. Lance, thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much for having me.
Still to come, a golf stretch to get you ready for your game out here in Arizona before or after you watch your favorite team play. Claudia Collins on the rocks, and much more as we continue on from Arizona. Brad Cesmat, Spring Training AZ here on Bally Sports.
It's spring, so come for the games. Then extend your adventure in Arizona. Ready to go big? Find your fun today.
Discover more Play for All at Harrah's Auction Casino.
Hi folks, here are your drinks.
Where having fun means racking up reward credits with the Caesars Rewards loyalty program that can be redeemed for food, free play, hotel stays, and more. Not only here in the city of Maricopa, but also at more than 50 Caesars properties coast to coast. From Harrah's Las Vegas to Caesars Palace in Atlantic City. What are you waiting for? Play for All at Harrah's Auction Casino, the official sponsor of Play.
Want to remind you as you're taking in all of our content, where to come to in spring training, to hike, to golf, to be outdoors, to eat, where to stay. The Scottsdale Princess Resort, the Fairmont Princess, that is our home away from home, our home base, as we like to say, here in spring training with the show week in and week out. The Scottsdale Fairmont Princess Resort.
Hey everyone, welcome to On the Rocks. I'm your trail guide, Claudia Collins, and I'm taking you along for my adventures as I check hikes, waterfalls, and other outdoor activities off of my Arizona bucket list. Today we're hiking West Fork Trail in Sedona, Arizona. West Fork Trail is 6.5 miles out and back, and it's rated moderate, and it costs $11 to park at the trailhead. West Fork Trail is one of the 3 most popular hikes in Sedona, and I hope we're about to see why. We had no trouble parking this morning, which is great, and it's actually kind of cool, so we're gonna enjoy the weather and hike by the creek. All right, let's go. The trail begins on a paved pathway surrounded by crab apple trees. I used to eat them as a kid after washing them, but I decided probably not a good idea today. This right here is the only bridge of the hike, but it was an awesome first impression. Within minutes of hiking, we couldn't help but notice all of the plant life surrounding us. We saw so many bright flowers, berries, and more crab apples, but I don't recommend indulging. The trail is very open and green, and you'll immediately come across things to explore, like this old rundown cabin that's also next to a cave with a doorway. Ooh, I want to camp here. After a bit of exploring, it was time to get to the main event, crossing the river. West Fork Trail has 13 river crossings, so we'll start counting, and this is number 1. This trail is gorgeous from the get-go, with stunning views of the red rock, shade from the abundance of trees, and the look and sound of running water. Crossings number 2, 3, and 4 came shortly after number 1. We were really loving this trail because of the shade and cool air coming off of the water. Each river crossing had its own personality too. Some were really narrow and quick to get across, and others required a lot of strategy to avoid a sloppy fall. 5th crossing, and the views just keep getting better. Crossing 4.5 actually, I don't know, because we didn't actually cross the river, but we went into it, so it's a little deceiving. We'll find out. Spoiler alert, that river crossing probably didn't count, so there'll be 14 in this video. Number 7. This trail had lots of beautiful twists and turns and always kept us wondering what we would come across next. At one moment, we'd have wide open space, and then we'd make a turn and be deep into some tall trees with peaks of the surrounding cliffs. And now we're already at river crossing number 10. I couldn't believe how quickly we made it to the 10th crossing. It felt like this hike was absolutely flying by. I guess because we were having so much fun. River crossing number 11, so this is what we're working with. The last few river crossings were tucked deeper into the woods, surrounded by trees, shrubs, and narrow rocks. I imagine I'll be returning to hike West Fork Trail in the autumn when the leaves are changing colors. Rumor has it that it gets very colorful here in the fall. I also think Mia really enjoyed this hike just as much as we all were. We started to notice some clouds rolling in, but it didn't seem like it would storm quite yet. And guess what? We also got to see a heron crossing the river in the opposite direction on river crossing number 12. Well, 11 if you want to count correctly. Made it through, lucky number 13. Listen, probably messed up. This is 14, 13, I don't know, we're not even at the end yet, so don't count on me to count. But then we finally got the sign that we were at the end, and it was a physical sign. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna actually have to go back and count how many times we crossed the river, but one thing I do know is that this hike is a must-do. It has to go right on the top of your bucket list. It's so much fun. It kind of reminds me of the Narrows in Zion, but kind of easier, not as long. Anyone can do it, and it's so worth coming out for the hike. We've got rain. Remember those clouds I said were rolling in? I think we still have like 2 miles to go. This was actually a really fun experience. Even though we were getting soaked head to toe, it didn't bother us. We were planning to be in the water anyways. Okay, this hike was awesome. And you know it's awesome because I'm still saying that after being soaked head to toe, this is a absolute top of the list must-do hike. There's lots of shade, hopefully not rain when you go, but it didn't even ruin the experience. Absolute blast, gotta do it. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time on The Rocks.
Make sure you bring your golf clubs out here, guys, gals, bring your sticks, because there's well over 100 golf courses in Maricopa County that you can head on out to and enjoy yourselves when you're here for spring training. Get a tee time in the early morning before the 1 p.m. first pitch, or after the game is over, after a few innings, you want to head on out, or the day off. Golf in Arizona, it is huge. You're going to want to do it. Temperatures in the 70s and low 80s when we get into late February and into March. Golf courses everywhere. To help your game out, Jordan Spurgeon gets you stretched and ready at the Fairmont Princess.
Jordan Spurgeon here, and I'm alongside Debbie, and apparently there's all kinds of stuff here within the spa at the Scottsdale Princess, and one thing is the golf stretch. I'm sure it's very popular, obviously a lot of golf here in Arizona. You're right off TPC Scottsdale, so in a moment you're going to take me through a golf stretch, but for everybody out there, and maybe myself included, who's maybe a little bit worried about being a little tight and tense, what does a golf stretch entail?
So I start with more of range of motion exercises to kind of get the muscle and the joint mobilized. And then once I feel the muscle just kind of moving around, I can go ahead and stretch. So I use a stretch that'll stretch the glutes, the hamstrings, the hips, the butt, the whole lower body. Yes.
And you've been doing this for 20 years, and
yes.
we'll talk a little bit more while we're doing it too.
Yeah.
But what's something, if someone was curious about it and they want to come out and golf, like how important is this for them if they want to come out and work on their golf game a little bit?
More important than anything. If you don't have the flexibility, you're not going to have the swing. You're not going to be able to swing because your hips won't have that mobility to drive the hips to swing your club.
Okay, so we're going to be trying to drive the hips
yes.
after the stretching.
Yeah,
so
you won't be able to rotate those hips if you're really tight.
All right,
yeah.
so I have a feeling I'm very tight, so I guess we'll start here. So how does this
So
begin?
what I'll have you do is lay on your back, and here's your little pillow. So
okay.
just go ahead and you get to relax. And we start with, this is that range of motion. So I just kind of take your muscle, your joints through this little range of motion to kind of relax you a little bit, because a lot of people are really tense.
Myself included.
Yes. And then once I kind of feel you relax, then I'll go into the stretch, and then I'll take it. And I usually hold a stretch for about 15 seconds.
So are these things that obviously people can't do on their own, right?
No, I mean, you can stretch yourself, but you don't get the same.
Right.
This is amazing. When you get done with this, you get up and you just feel like you're just loosey-goosey. I mean, you really do feel really good, yeah. I mean, I even do this, and I teach a lot of classes a week. I get tight, I also golf, so I know the importance of stretching. Yeah.
So for those that are out here playing casual golf, some people have great swings, some not. Is this something that will help a golf swing?
This will help, yes.
Okay.
When we used to have the pro golfers come in, they brought their trainers in, and that's what they did. They brought and stretched before they played. I mean, this has become more popular than massages.
Really?
Oh yeah, because the benefits of this exceed. I mean, you can feel this stretch for 3 days after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the people, if they were staying for a week, they come in once or twice and they'll really be feeling good.
Oh yeah. I have guests that come and they come and see me every time they come here. Once they get it done once, they always come back. Always. Because they're like, oh my God, can I take you home with me?
Right.
So it's really full body.
Okay.
I stretch everything. Mainly focus on the lower body, but I also do the arms, the neck, the shoulders. All right. How are you feeling?
Feel better, definitely recommend. Thank you so much, Debbie. Learned a lot, and
yes.
I feel better already.
Yeah.
Here you are in Arizona, where time is measured in moments, not minutes, and relaxation is an art form. At the intersection of utter serenity and total awe, where you feel fully present experiencing the past, and you meet your inner foodie for the first time, right at the center of the best time you've had in years. Visit a new state of mind in Arizona. Plan your trip at hereyouareaz.com.
Visit us at Harrah's Ak-Chin Casino in the city of Maricopa, where you'll find play for all and friendly people ready to welcome you like family.
Welcome back, you two.
As the official sponsor of Play and the only casino in Arizona with Caesars Rewards, see what a difference it makes to play where your fun is our top priority. Harrah's Ak-Chin Casino. Play for all.
What's up, everyone? I'm Eliav Gabay, and in this new segment called Eats with Eliav, we're going to take you to local restaurants right by the spring training facilities all across Arizona, starting with right here in Scottsdale, close to where the Diamondbacks and the Rockies play. This is Rinaldi's Italian Deli. Here with John Rinaldi. John, thank you for having us here in this beautiful restaurant. So much history behind it, of course.
Yes, I try to keep it like a New York deli, home type deli. You know, you see boxes, you see things all over the place, and people look at me and says, what is this? I said, well, I'm making you try to feel home like New York. We have stuff all over the place. The best city in the world. Pour that salsa.
There we go.
And don't ask for more.
I can't promise that.
And we do our own chorizo here.
This is so fire. Who are some people that might come through here on a random day?
I get Jim McMahon, the old quarterback of the Bears. Sometimes I get Luis Gonzalez comes in where I do a lot of catering for him. Now I see Evan Longoria coming in. You know, I can throw so many names at you.
And that's the beauty and the excitement of being here. It's not
Yes.
just the food, right?
No,
It's
no.
the full experience.
Yes.
If he wasn't from New York, he'd probably be a pretty good guy.
What's it like when spring training is here? How crazy does it get?
It does get crazy. People stay in the hotels around us and they come grab their breakfast burritos, or they come and grab some sandwiches to eat on the field, you know, in the grass area.
As you can see, it's nice and toasty. Got that Parmesan and that little stretch right there. We love it.
Can you handle it?
You know what? We're gonna find out.
Okay.
All right, let's give it a go.
Be honest, don't just do this.
No. Well, I'm trying to look good for the camera, John. What am I supposed to do? We've talked so much about New York. You have the 9/11 Memorial, very near and dear to you,
Yes.
and people who have actually given you things to put up here
Yes.
as well.
A Scottsdale fire captain gave me his helmet that he used here. I had a Chicago firefighter from the West Side sent me a patch to put up. I had a guy call me from Surprise. He said, hey, I have my buddy's jacket. He passed away in 9/11. If I send you the jacket, would you put it up on the wall? Sure enough, I framed it and I put it up on the wall.
So when you say neighborhood place,
Yeah.
you really
It
mean
is a neighborhood.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Next.
I get people coming from out of town. The first place they come from the airport, they come right here and eat. And before they leave, they come, grab a sandwich, and eat it on the plane on the way home. That makes me feel great.
For John Rinaldi, I'm Eliav Gabay. Come through because spring training is going to be a fun time right here at Rinaldi's Italian Deli.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
We want to thank the Scottsdale Fairmont Princess Resort. The Fairmont Princess Resort, it is our home away from home. It should be yours when you come out here for spring training. Easy to get to any of the teams that are here in Maricopa County training. There's 13 teams that are training out here. So across the country, as you're watching us, taking it in, you're saying, hey honey, where should I stay? Where should we stay? The Princess Resort, they have something for everybody. That's the Princess Resort in Scottsdale. So as we wrap things up for this week's episode, we're about 20 minutes south of the Princess Resort. That's where you need to stay, okay? If you're on the west side, we'll get over to the Rangers and the Royals and the Reds and the Guardians and the Padres. The Angels are just about 10 minutes away from where we're standing right now at Tempe Diablo. We'll take you all through spring training, so when you get out here in mid-February, you are ready to go. That's our show for this week. Thanks again for being with us. We'll see you again next week.
Discover more Play for All at Harrah's Auction Casino.
Hi folks, here are your drinks.
Where having fun means racking up reward credits with the Caesars Rewards loyalty program that can be redeemed for food, free play, hotel stays, and more. Not only here in the city of Maricopa, but also at more than 50 Caesars properties coast to coast. From Harrah's Las Vegas to Caesars Palace in Atlantic City. What are you waiting for? Play for All at Harrah's Auction Casino, the official sponsor of Play.